Hello everyone, it's Yuna, and today's video I wanted to talk about if you should summon on Minami Miyashita. This is a really exciting banner. Marion is a very strong character, but there's a lot of confusion that at least I'm seeing, and it kind of is a really tough call in my opinion if you should summon for Minami, and it really comes down to what teams you'd like to build, and frankly, if you summon for Joker. So in my opinion, if you summon for Joker, you kind of can't summon for Minami. You just don't have the currency unless you're whaling, right? And if you're whaling, it's like that's a whole different conversation. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna read Minami, we're gonna read her info, we're gonna read the weapon, and then I'm going to talk about what I think. So just kind of getting into it right away, we'll pull up her awareness 0. At the start of battle, gain 1 diagnosis stack. At the start of Minami's turn, if any ally's HP is below 70, gain diagnosis. Diagnosis stacks up to twice. And diagnosis says, increase Minami's HP by 15% for each stack. When using certain skills, spend stacks to strengthen the effects. Skill 1, deal bless damage, and she scales with HP, by the way. So deal damage equal to percentage of HP, and then grant a blessing stack to the party, which gives you a little bit of HP, and then you get a diagnosis stack on top of that. This is a really good skill, very loaded. This skill is also very strong. Restore HP equal to 11.4% of Minami's HP. So it's, again, this also scales with her HP. To the enemy, to the ally with the lowest HP and 1 selected ally. Then cure 2 debuffs. Grant 1 blessing stack to the allies healed, and grant Minami 1 diagnosis stack. At the start of each turn for 2 turns, restore HP of allies healed by this skill equal to percentage of Minami's HP plus a flat bonus. Skill 3. Spend diagnosis stacks, all of them, but you can only have 2. Restore HP of the selected ally, scaling with HP. Also restore HP of the ally with the lowest HP with this effect 2 times. So it's like a full team heal basically, right? Unless like someone's like super low and they need to get like double healed. For each diagnosis stack, increase the max HP of allies by a percentage of Minami's health. That's pretty strong. Her super restores the party's HP and cures a debuff. That's really nice that it cures a debuff on highlight. That's really big because it doesn't have to be her turn for you to clear a debuff. That's really big. Increases the party's HP by a percentage of Minami's HP. And at the end of an action, restore HP for 1 turn. And then she does bless damage, and she does bless damage on her 1 more. Her passive skills, after Minami heals an ally, increase their damage by 5% plus the amount of blessing stacks they have up to 30%. So you're basically going to get like 1 or 2 of these, right? So you're getting like 7% on average. But this is at level 1, right? I don't know how this scales. Because it's the yellow number, so these are the ones that increase, but it's up to 30, right? And that number doesn't increase, so that number is white. So hopefully it scales a little better. And then at the start of battle, increase the party's HP by a percentage of Minami's HP, and this scales. That's pretty good. So, I want to take a look at her dupes. Her awareness 1, when healing allies above max HP, increase target's pierce by 20% for 2 turns. This is crazy. This really helps. It really gives her a lot of utility. This character is so loaded. Like, she's actually so strong. I'm actually, like, it's so hard to say, like, not to summon. Additionally, this is her weapon. Increase max HP by 30%. When Minami has diagnosis, increase the healing effect by 10%. When spending diagnosis, increase party's damage by 25% for 1 turn. That's really strong. So, what do I think? I think I think if you summoned for Joker, it's a lot harder for me to tell you that Minami is a good summon, but it's a lot easier for me to tell you that Minami is just a all-around great unit. So the way I'm building my box, I'm going to be going for Summer Murtaha when she comes out, and Minami is a character that I think will, immensely help my growth in my account. So I'm fairly sure I'm gonna summon. I I want to make sure that I don't like go in too deep because I definitely want a copy of the weapon. I think summoning for her on this banner instead of potentially waiting for her to be added to the gold banner when, as far as I'm aware, they add her to the gold banner, I think around 2.1 or 2.0. It's not instant. It wasn't instant on China from what I understand. I checked some old footage, some old YouTube videos, and I wasn't entirely sure, but when the game came out on China, Taiwan, she obviously wasn't on the banner. And another important thing to mention too is these gold tickets they get scarcer and scarcer and scarcer as the game goes on, right? So saying, "Oh, you'll just get her on the gold ticket banner," it's like, will you? It's gonna take a long time to get the remaining 200 summons to even get one of these guys. I have 29 of these right now, but it's not like you're ever in your life going to spend your meta jewels on the gold tickets. Never. You're never gonna do that. So where does that like leave you? It's either it's kind of a situation where if you want to build for Motoha when she comes out, I think Minami you cannot skip. I think you cannot skip Minami. But it's also really difficult because there are other characters that are coming out. Now, everything I just said is under the assumption that you summoned for Joker, because everybody I know except for me summoned for Joker. I was pretty vocal about thinking Joker was not great. I am pretty vocal about thinking Joker is not great. And especially after I played with him in the Raga event at the end of the Kamoshida's Palace event, it just confirmed everything I thought. He just felt weird. He felt wonky. He felt inconsistent, and his skill too, is alone makes him like borderline like unfun for me. The fact that it's conditional is so annoying. But this isn't about Joker. So, should you summon for Minami? In my opinion, I will be summoning for Minami. I will be summoning for her to get one copy and one copy of her weapon. If I get lucky, I might go in for the first dupe. But I am not pressed. I am not like, I think as long as you get one copy of her and the weapon, it's so free. It's free damage, 25% damage amp. It's just like, that's just crazy. It's just crazy. Because then when you pull her on the banner later down the line, on this banner, assuming they add her, right? They confirmed a sync, by the way, in the stream. I said in my video that I wasn't entirely sure, but I ran it through the translator and I looked at the kanji again, and it says that they're preparing for a sync. So, assuming that everything is synced up by the time Persona 4 Revival comes out, because I think that will be like when the sync period happens. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that they do Persona 3 Reload stuff around like. See, I don't know. I'll make another video talking about the timeline. But in terms of Minami, it's hard. You have to talk about her in the context of summoning for everyone else, right? Because she is a good unit, but she alone will not carry your box. I don't know all of the characters that will alone carry your box, but I know for sure there's Cord, and I know for me, I need to summon for Summer Rotaha. So it's just like, it works out that all three of those characters work very well together. Additionally, one of my friends said to me this morning, they said, what if you, instead of running Minami, ran Wonder with All In? And I said, well, that's a really interesting idea. But Wonder, especially, he's just so strong. I feel like wasting, especially in the early game, wasting him because he's so easy to build is really tough. But if you look at it from the opposite perspective, which is to say, eventually he will be built, everyone will be about as strong as Wonder, and he won't be like that much stronger than everybody else, right? Um, Wonder is going to become a much more flexible character. So I just hit level 50 the other day, and I was taking a look at this persona. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is because this is a bless healer, right? So it is a 1-to-1 comparison with Minami. However, this is on Joker. Excuse me. This is on Wonder instead, and then you have to slot in another unit, and we'll talk about that in a second. So the main skill says restore party's HP, scaling with attack, decrease party's damage taken for 2 turns. The heal on ultimate is pretty good. And then some of the skills you can... She's just a healer. So, and then compared to like what Minami is doing, but we're going to make sure that like, man, it just doesn't make sense to run Wonder this way. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I don't understand. It doesn't feel like a 1-to-1. I feel like Wonder is at his best currently, at least with the weapons we have in the game. With this, with the Send Knight Inferno, with whatever personas you have that benefit your team, right? Wonder as a damage dealer is just so strong, in my opinion. So, just kind of wrapping it up, should you summon for Minami? In my opinion, she is a character that if you skip, you will regret it. That's how I'm going to answer that question. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you've already summoned. Let me know how deep you went. Let me know if you're skipping. Let me know what your plans are. And I'll see you in the next one. Good luck, everyone.